Principle number 4, time versus priorities. How many times do we get stuck where somebody asks us to do something and we set out to do it, but then we end up not doing it, and when they ask us why, we say, I didn't have enough time. In the 12 Principles to Life Masteries, it's designed based on how we function in the most efficient way, how we were designed as human beings. And the design is to speak the truth. And the truth is that it's not that we didn't have enough time. The truth is it's not a high enough priority. Now, this is a hard principle, granted, and when we share this principle, we use this principle, we need to be careful that others that we're using it with, that they've been through this and they understand and agree to this principle, this natural law as well. For instance, let's say that my phenomenal wife of 25 years, she said she was going to do something. I come home from work and I ask her, I say, Rosanna, honey, did you get this done? And she says, I'm sorry, Mark. She says, I didn't have enough time to do it. Well, that's not the truth. What she should say is she should say, honey, I'm sorry, but it wasn't a high enough priority. Now, granted, that's a hard principle. Or maybe when I'm talking with my kids and I said, hey, kids, Dad said you were going to clean the room. You didn't clean the room. Why didn't you clean the room? The kids say to me, look at me and smile and say, Dad, I'm sorry, it wasn't, high enough priority. And this really, truly happens in our home. So what do I say when that happens? I respond like this. I say, wow, kids, that's so awesome. Thank you for speaking the truth to Dad. Because that's the truth. It's not a high enough priority. Now, after that, I might ask them, well, let's take a look at your priorities. Now, maybe, the older ones, maybe they were helping the younger ones with school or helping mom around the house. And so they said, well, I did this for this amount of time and this amount of time and this, Dad. I did all of these things. And, I did play, an hour of video games. But I felt, that's a good balance and it's okay. They'll clean the room tomorrow. On the other hand, they may have said, well, Dad, I kind of messed around here and I played 3 hours of video games, and it's like, well, let's take a look at our priorities, because maybe our priorities are messed up. But in education, in schooling, in relationships, in career, throughout our whole life, we will need to continue to balance all of the different things that we have going. And by learning to speak the truth to ourselves and to others, it gives us freedom. Because then we don't have negative guilt in our life. I mean, if I say, I'm not spending enough time with my kids because it's not a high enough priority, I can look at how much time I should be spending and what I am spending. And if it needs to be adjusted, I can do that. But we can always spend more time doing the really, really, good things. Focus is how do we do the great things. And so all of these laws connect back in to one and another. And time and priorities is such a powerful thing in changing our lives. So we trust this principle, time versus priority, is a life changer for you.